Okay, so Camp Mackall. We are still... So let's move now and try and find this place. It's North Carolina. I'm not particularly au fait with what's going on over here. Let me just do a search. There we go. Set the departure there. Start the flight. Let's change the scroll for you guys. Got the scroll on just because when you're doing all this sort of stuff, I sometimes forget to things or get things wrong. So it just helps to sort of let you guys know that there is some sort of method to the madness. Okay, let's get ready to fly. Mackall Air Force Base. Let's get up and have a look around. So break off. Let's go. So this is Camp Mackall. Located in Richmond County, North Carolina. And it's near, I think it's nearish to Fort Bragg. So this is the sort of concentration of the area where the airborne troops came for their training. And it's now used in American Special Forces. Originally it was called Camp Hoffman. It was changed to Camp Mackall after a private by the name of John Thomas Mackall. He was a paratrooper who was killed, one of the first casualties of Operation Torch, which was one of the first operations of the US Airborne. And they basically renamed this camp after him. Whee. Okay. Oh. Overstressed the aircraft. Right. That's what comes from trying to fly one-handed. So this place was built out of 62,000 acres, so all of this area had 65 miles worth of roads. There was a hospital built here. It had movie theatres, bars with beer gardens, and all of this was built in around about 4 months. So let's see if we can land here, and then we'll move on to Fort Bragg. That's the yeah. So we'll land on this runway down here and move on to Fort Bragg. There's a lot of training done here was about sort of advanced airborne stuff. The glider operations as well were here. And then the 82nd then moved to Fort Bragg, where they continued their training before they were shipped out to England. Now, in May 1943, elements of the 82nd were deployed to North Africa, and these were the 504th and the 505th, and they were led by Major General James Gavin. He was born in 1907. Let me get a picture of him. He was born in 1907 to Irish immigrants, and he was orphaned when he was young. He enlisted, so he had a hard life, a hard early life. Enlisted when he was 17 years old and graduated from West Point in 1929. He became one of the driving forces of the airborne development in this area. He took command of the 505th Infantry Regiment in 1942, and he's the equivalent to Colonel Sink of the 101st. He developed an esprit de corps in the 82nd, set very high standards, demanded a lot from his troops, put them through realistic marches, realistic drills, all that sort of stuff. And he became known as Jumpin' Jim because he would lead his men from the front and jump with them a lot. So even though he becomes Ridgway's sort of second in command to the whole division, he would always jump with the 505th if he could. He ended up, I think, with about 4 combat jumps, and there's not many people who can say that. He led them in Sicily, Salerno, Normandy, and Holland. And that's where he got his jumps from. And he would later He survived the war and would later become an ambassador to France. And what was when the 505th were brought back and shipped out to England, but they left the 82nd Division left the 504th out in Italy, and then two new regiments, the 507th and the 508th, joined the 505 in Normandy. So in terms of regiments, the 505 was kind of the veteran senior in the Normandy campaign. So we're just gonna now do the same thing. We'll move on to and have a quick look at Fort Bragg. So I'll take a little break and see you in a moment.